So when did treatment start coming into the scene for you?
So the guy I was getting him from died.
Yeah.
He had a stroke that I'm sure was
Associated with drug
associated with
use.
because he was doing a lot more than I was. And so I knew I needed help at that point.
Did
I wanted to
it
get off.
concern you? Were you close to the same age as the guy?
No, he was like 10 years younger than me.
Oh, yeah, that's intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed help, and I tried detoxing at my house on my own.
Yeah.
And
And that's from the fentanyl.
that's from the fentanyl.
Okay.
And I went like from, taking one every 2 or 3 hours to I went like 20 some hours without it and got really sick.
And what does that look like? I'm sorry to interrupt, but let's walk through. Okay, so it's been 5 hours since your last dose. How are you feeling?
Sweating, body ache.
Okay. What's going on in your mind?
That I take a pill and
Yeah.
it's all okay.
And no smoking, no injecting, just oral.
I was snorting them.
Oh, you were snorting them. Yeah. Okay. So crushing up the pill then. Yeah. Okay. And so now we're 10 hours away from your last pill. What's going on?
I was in bed sick.
Sick.
Same thing, but much worse.
Vomiting, diarrhea?
Not yet.
Okay.
Vomiting maybe, but the diarrhea, no.
Okay.
But
cold sweat, pale,
yeah.
body aching?
Body aching.
Yeah. Any kind of cold symptoms like runny nose, any of those kind of things?
My wife thought I was sick.
Okay. And so now we're 20 hours away from your last pill. What's happening in your mind?
I need to make it stop now.
No. And you become willing to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, was your wife aware that you were a fentanyl addict at this point? Okay. When did you tell your wife?
The day I went to rehab.
Okay. So it's 20 hours. And so you're laying there and you're willing to do whatever you need to do. So what happened next?
I was trying to call a couple of different people. I had 3 different people I could call and wasn't getting anywhere. And so I left the house and started calling 1-800 numbers because I knew I needed help.
Yeah.
And finally got somebody on the phone that the first thing they didn't ask was insurance.
Yeah.
So I was able to talk to her for a while, and she said she'd get me into place that night.
Yeah.
Put me on a plane, and I was like, I can't get on a plane feeling like this.
Yeah.
And she says, well, can you go get something and even yourself out? And I said, I'm working on it. And then I finally got a hold of somebody. He came and met me by my house. I did one and called her back, and she said, you sound like a totally different person. I'm like, yeah, all the symptoms went away immediately. So she got me into detox. But it took me 2 weeks to tell my wife because I knew that would be a big blow.
Yeah. And how many years had you been hiding it from your wife at this point?
At that point, 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I called her up when I finally told them, okay, I'll go today. They got me the plane ticket and Uber, and I called my wife and told her, hey, I got a problem. And she's like, I know, you're drinking too much. And I'm like, no, It's way worse than that.
Yeah.
So I told her what it was and asked her if she wanted to come take me to the airport, and she was like, nope.
Yeah.
So I got on the plane and...
Tough love?
Oh, she was pissed. She was ready to
Divorce
me, yeah.
Are you guys still together?
We are now.
Okay, good.
When I came home I went to California, and when I came home from California, I had to move out.
Okay.
So we were separated for a while.
And how did that affect you?
I used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How were you feeling about it all?
I thought it was done, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And using, I would imagine, took away any thoughts, feelings, or emotions that you probably had.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about it at that point.
So let me ask you this. Knowing, because this is what I'm hearing you say. I knew I had a problem that I didn't want to be trapped in. I knew what the elixir was to help me not feel that way. And even though I didn't want to be in that place, I needed to be in that place. Mm-hmm. How easy do you think it is for an individual to walk away from addiction even though they're done long before they ever stop?
It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I went back. I detoxed, 3 times in a year, and then the next year another time.
Yeah.
So in less than a year and a half, 4 times.
And how long were you separated from the drug before you made made the decision to use again?
Oh, well, detox, and then shortly after I got home, maybe a couple of weeks.
Okay, so a few weeks. Okay.
A few weeks, yeah, not long.
So what's happening in your mind that, you know how terrible it was. You've gotten beyond the place of extreme discomfort. So you kind of have some clarity.
You still don't feel well, though.
You still
It takes a
don't feel well.
long time to feel better.
Yeah. And what does that look like? So on the weeks, following, all of these things, like as you're getting clean. So what's different? Like you're not snapping right back into where you were before you were strung out.
No energy. You still have sweats and body aches and
what about sleep patterns?
no sleep.
No sleep.
Matter of fact, they put you on sleep meds.
Because you can't sleep when you're taking opiates.
So you're on Suboxone.
And you weren't just on fentanyl. You were on the prescribed opiates and the fentanyl.
Yeah, I was taking tramadol and fentanyl.
Yeah.
For that first time. The
Yeah.
other times, no. But the first time, yeah, I was on both.
Yeah.
And alcohol.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so you had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that because I think that we, I understand and know what an opiate kick is, and, being on different drugs, but I think this is good. You're really close to, your last one. And so I think it's really important for people to understand, which I think is what incentivizes long-term treatment. It's got to incentivize that. And so okay, so this is your first time in, almost lost your wife. Is there, and I like to describe things in a certain way, but I'm going to ask you, does it feel like there's something just whispering to you? And you know how to feel better, how to feel better.
All 24 hours a day.
It's pinging at you. It's not going to be that bad. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll just do it this way this time.
Or I'll just one more.
Just one more.
One more.
Yeah. It'll get me past this, past this hump.
But that hump is.
What happens with that one more? So what happens when you finally give in? What happens?
You do the one more and you're like, okay, I can handle this. I can control this.
Yeah.
And a few days later, you go get more and you handled that. So then a few days later, you go get more and then it turns into every day and 10 or 20 a day right over again.
And let me ask you this. How quickly did it progress after the first time?
Oh, really fast.
So you went even deeper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I went from the first time I was doing about 10 a day. The next time I was 20 a day plus, depending on the day,
Yeah.
So.
Did your environment change at all? So, for example, this is how my conversations go. Like I'll talk and then I'll start thinking about things. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask this question. Because it sounds like you had a fairly vanilla addiction, right? You were able to maintain a normal life. You had a wife, a home, and all these kind of things. Doesn't sound like you were hanging around out on the streets at all. Did your environment begin to change as your disease progressed?
No, it pretty much stayed the same. I was.
So you just stayed at home.
Yeah, I was.
So you were an
addict.
independent functioning addict. Yeah. You used in secret.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So fast forward, it progresses. Here we are, more than 100 days ago. What happened? Why are you here clean 100 days without any kind of medical assisted support?
I didn't want to die. I didn't want to lose my wife because the whole thing with her, she finally educated herself and wanted to work with me and help me get better, but didn't want to sit there and watch me die either. And I'd gotten hooked on them again. And I knew I needed to do something different because the 12-step program and the AA thing wasn't working for me. And that's, like I said, when she told me to call Brock to do something different.